this is the first time that I've been in a shoot, and that I was like, what's that little thing you did over there? It was like a
cut, print that, yeah, boy.
Do it again.
I don't know what the fuck I did.
I don't know. I always say that.
Like
I always say I don't know what I did when I don't want to tell somebody.
No, but I generally, it was like, probably, I don't know.
It was like, but it was there. It was like.
What did I do? Was it that?
It was, you did it with your first finger. That's why I was looking at it.
I really don't know what I did.
Okay, this is what you did. It was something like this.
We'll rewind it. We'll watch it back tomorrow afternoon.
That's tomorrow's lesson. Thank you.
Yeah, Mike Bradley. Hope you're doing well as always. And today I have the pleasure of being joined by Mr. Philip X.
It's never Philip.
I'm joking.
Wait,
Phil X, ladies and gentlemen.
There's no lip. It's just Phil. But thanks. But
Nice,
I understand how Philip is an English thing, so I'll cut you some slack.
Is your birth certificate Philip, or is it just
Phil?
It's Phil. Oh wow.
Yeah.
So it's
Phil.
like people who are called Louis.
Right.
They get annoyed if they're called Lewis.
Right.
Because they're like, no, it's Louis.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, to be quick, like
no,
it's a Greek. It came from Theophilus.
Oh right, okay.
So Phil. Oh.
Yeah. I was being cheeky and British and a bit of a dick, you know. But nice to meet you, man. Well, we met 3 or 4
I
days
welcome
ago.
cheeky. It's okay.
Well,
Depends
sounds
on
like you
which
wrote the
cheek,
book
man.
on it, man. But how you been? GitCon 28. How's it all
I
been?
know. Now,
Your second one.
my second one, and it's fucking hot in here.
It is a little bit. I'm gonna say.
It's the lights, man. What's with the lights? It looks cool, but the heat. No, it's been going great. It really has.
Yeah.
I mean, the crew this year, all the people behind the scenes are fantastic, and you guys are fantastic. I'm here. I'm like hardly a YouTuber anymore because it was years when I was doing Frederick Americana, and it makes me want to start posting on PhilX1111 again. You know, my channel.
You should. I'm subscribed to that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
It's been a long time since I post because I get used to, like, media changes, and I just think, you know, how everybody thinks that Facebook is going away.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm on Instagram because I post stuff all the time, and then people just, you know, they, you know, go to that's also PhilX1111, but it's almost a challenge to keep something under 60 seconds.
Yeah.
So if I'm on tour and this is today's hotel bathroom jam.
Yeah, right.
If I try it, I time it first, right? Because that's the challenge. And if it's like it's 70 seconds, do I edit it or do I do it a little faster?
Yeah, or you could do a little fade out. I mean, I do that sometimes.
Yeah,
it's true, you know.
totally. Or crack a joke.
Well,
Or do a little bit. Like and the funny thing to me is, and I love rock, and I grew up with all these bands like AC/DC and Black Sabbath and Van Halen and Judas Priest, and I think my highest viewed Judas was Judas Priest on Instagram. I did Victim of Changes.
Oh, okay, I don't know Judas Priest very well. I'll take your word for it.
Well, I'll punch you later. No, I mean, I'll tell you about it later. And it was like one of those things, because I guess the singing and the playing, the way I put it together, and I didn't have time to do it in the hotel room, so I think that was the first one that was backstage.
Right.
Between soundcheck and the show.
That's cool though, yeah. Well, you're warming up as well, you know, and stuff like that.
Yeah, do a little warm up and do a little boogaloo and do a little Judas Priest.
Yeah. I love that, man. Well, obviously you were saying you haven't done YouTube for a while. You've been a little bit busy.
I have.
For the last, 10 years or whatever? Well, probably more than that, but no.
Yeah, it's there's always something going on, and if there's and then when you get into the situation, like I was filling in for Richie Sambora in Bon Jovi, it escalated to, is that my face on the T-shirt?
Yeah, right.
Then you're on the call. Hey, we're doing this. Okay, and then everything else goes on hold.
Well, of course, you can't really say no to, you know, all that, can you?
I did once.
Oh, did you? Well, if you need a depth.
I'm not available. And it felt like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah. Nah, show can't do it. Feels like it, you know.
Yeah.
But good on you, man. Well, one thing I'm intrigued about, and I was saying to you before, like, obviously, you know, you're a fucking hot guitar player. You know a few
You mean
things.
hot or hot?
A bit of both, you know. You're quite attractive man. But like, I mean,
this is a good-looking guy right here. Come on.
But I'm intrigued to know, like, what pisses you off as a guitar player. Like, when you hear someone else, you know, X, Y, or Z, doesn't matter, you know, and you think, oh man, like, I want to go and do that. Like, is there like a part of technique you can't do? or you know, you want to be able to do that kind of stuff, you know.
Okay,
or not even technique, just knowledge of the instrument.
No, I completely understand. Because I, not to sound like a dick, but if I don't use a technique, it's because I prefer not to.
Don't need, you're right.
Like,
yeah.
I don't sweep, so I don't. It's something I don't do, right? To me, I'm more of a classic. I grew up with AC/DC, like I said before, and Black Sabbath, and even Eddie Van Halen. There was never a sweeping in that kind of area. And if I do something that sounds minor harmonic or Phrygian, it's not from Yngwie Malmsteen.
Like,
It's from playing bouzouki when I was a kid,
okay,
which is the
cool.
same mode.
Right.
And there's other stuff. Like, I mean, when I see something, and this is how I am, and when I see something that, oh my God, that's amazing, I don't do that, that's fine with me. I'll never be those guys that can sound like 8 instruments on one acoustic guitar with the drum, and this is my snare, and this is my fingers doing this, and this is the tuning, and this is my bass note now, and I think that's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I see that, and I appreciate it,
Yeah.
but I was like, that would take me 16 years.
Right. Yeah.
I don't need to do that.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, it's funny, you know, especially now, like there's even more guitar players, you know, and before you had the heroes. But I was saying to someone else the other day, like people learning now, now everything's an instant world, isn't it?
Right.
You know, you see, want everything now, and so people don't have the patience to like hone their craft.
Yeah.
You know, so like you were saying, you start out on AC/DC. Now I think of Angus Young as kind of like a tidied up kind of Chuck Berry kind of thing, you know, or that kind of thing. So I'm assuming you were like that for a bit, and then obviously you've heard Van Halen. It's like, oh shit, I want a bit. You know, it's all how you grow up. Because when I was a kid, my hero, well, not hero, but I thought Noel Gallagher from the Oasis was the best guitar player. Because that's all I heard.
Right.
I started playing guitar in '96, and you know, I didn't have YouTube or any of that. And I remember there's a song called "Do You Know What I Mean." I don't know if you know that song, but he did like a just. Your standard, they're all the same, aren't they? You know, and I was like, oh my God, he's got a wah-wah, you know, this is amazing, you know. And I remember I went to the 97 or 98 London guitar show, and Paul Gilbert was there in a big orange suit. And I just went, I didn't know who Paul, I didn't get Guitar Mag, I didn't know who he was. And he started playing, I was like, no, Gallagher doesn't do that, you know what I mean? I was like, what the fuck's that, you know?
He's ridiculous.
But that was
and
just
his hands are so big, it looks like
man, he's like that, isn't he?
It's like he can span from here to here.
Yeah. But it's all how you grow up, isn't it? Which is really interesting, that the influences as you grow, especially in your adolescence and things like that.
Where, I think it's where you put that inspiration. Like, if I see somebody play a lick I like, I don't learn that lick.
You take it and it inspires you.
I take an idea and I go, well, I know what he's doing, and I could make it Phil X over here. Right?
That's a good way to think,
Even when I was young, I was so into Eddie Van Halen, I had totally geeked out over everything he did, but including his licks, but it was his time, and the way he approached syncopation and rhythm and stuff. So, and I also knew, even being like 16 or 17, that there's already an Eddie Van Halen. I can't be a clone or a copycat or just do Eddie Van Halen licks all the time. I stopped tapping. I just knew what really drew me to Van Halen was the inventiveness. So, do you want to be on that scale? Then you have to be inventive. So I started coming up with my licks really early.
Yeah, good for you.
And even like there's a song on our record, and I tipped my hat because Van Halen 1 came out like 40 years ago.
Scarily,
so I did a song on my new record with actually Glenn Sobel on drums from Alice Cooper.
Oh, cool, man.
And I total tip of the hat to like I'm the One. And I wanted to include, you know how there's a key change in the solo, and then he's guys, I'm gonna shred it in E, and then I'm gonna shred in B, and then D, and then E again, and then we'll come back in G, and then the riff will be in A. And I'm like, I wanted to kind of include that roadmap of a guitar solo, but instead of Eddie licks, it's my licks. So can I play a little bit?
Please do.
It's kind of like,
great. Yeah.
So it's kind of the riff is like. Something like that, right? Yeah. So the solo starts in B, and then it goes, wait a minute, to D, and then E, and then F sharp, and then I come back to A. So try to picture those keys underneath.
Yeah. Right.
So it's that kind of thing. So those
I love that chromatic stuff, man. That's wicked.
Thanks,
so
man.
good, man.
But it's funny, but there's a little cheat in there.
Right.
And this is what I try to, when I do clinics and when I talk to schools and stuff like that, what I try to incorporate is, I got this lick from this lick. You know? Which is, when I do the, it came from.
Oh, right, yeah.
Right?
That's inventive, like you were saying about the inventiveness. Yeah.
So, but it's taking your inspiration.
Yeah.
And disguising it. No,
that's great, man.
No,
yeah.
it's making it so that it's yours.
Yeah.
And I just added the higher note, which isn't in the phrase that Eddie Van Halen plays. But I also realized, and this is like going back, I was at Guitar Summit last month.
Okay.
And Uli John Roth was my hero when I was 16. And so we sat, like, not only did we get to play together, but we sat and talked about stuff.
Awesome, yeah.
And he just pointed out information to me. Like I go, we were talking about melody and how it's important. If you're gonna do a theme at the beginning of a song, it's gotta be memorable. And I go, well, that's what I got from Pictured Life, which was like
Yeah.
Right?
Melodic, yeah.
And then I go that as soon as I heard that, I identified the hook, and it also had your character to it. He goes, well, I got that from Layla. And
well,
like,
there you go.
Fuck!
Yeah. It's all the hamster wheel, so to speak, isn't it?
And then Hellcat, when he goes, wait. And Eddie in Beautiful Girls on Van Halen 2, he goes,
yeah.
I'm like, and he goes, oh, I got that from Hendrix. And I'm like, come on!
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? You know, even with when you say the Hendrix stuff, you can hear, what is it, the infamous Hendrix, when he'll do all that. And I mean, I listen to that he kind of got harmonica kind of plays. It's a very kind of that vibe, isn't it? You know, and I love that. You know, so and it's
that's
simple.
What makes it sound really cool, right?
Yeah.
Like Jeff Beck when he plays. Sometimes you think he's playing slide, but he's not because of the thumb picking and the whammy bar and stuff like that. It's just fantastic.
Well, your fellow band, on is it Blaze of Glory, and it sounds like when you first hear that, you think it's a slide guitar, but it's all whammy bar, isn't it? And it's like, where? No,
it is slide actually.
Oh, it is slide. Is it really? It sounds like whammy bar.
I know, but it is slide.
Oh.
And Jeff Beck played the solo on that song.
Yeah.
That was Jeff Beck.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Jeff Beck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I thought he did it on a whammy bar.
I think he came in for the solo, and everything else was recorded before. So I think it might have been Aldo Nova who played that slide.
Oh yeah, I was just talking about just that. I thought that solo was Jeff Beck in that, and he came in, and it just sounded the gargling and stuff like that.
There's a similar vibe in the solo, and that's all him in the bar. And
that's what. Yeah,
it's so amazing.
He's brilliant, that guy. He's absolutely great.
Absolutely.
But no, it's very interesting you're saying that, because I agree. You know, regarding take your influence and make it your own, you know, because you don't want to be, the amount of times you hear, fair enough, everyone, that's the first, like, page one of lick book, isn't it? But then it's like, just change it a little bit,
Not like that, though.
Well, it depends how you're doing it, though, If you're doing, like, some weird little, you know what I mean? Like, it depends, how as long as you get back to that route.
My great example of someone just changing one note and it sounding like them was Randy Rhoads when he took he changed that. He just changed the 6 to minor instead of major, and it's like, and every time you hear that note in that run, it reminds you of Randy Rhoads. Yeah. So when you're changing something, it's nice to make it like identifiable.
Absolutely.
But it's so fucking hard to do.
But
here's the thing, though. It can happen because I was playing the other day, and somebody asked me about how I expand my knowledge of the fretboard.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. Yeah.
And then when you're doing pentatonic, like. So if I find a way, like, okay, so let's take these boxes and spread them out over 2 strings.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Which is and. So it's all there. So then I turned it into a lick, and it's like that kind of thing. So, but if you just go. It sounds like an exercise.
Yeah.
So that's where syncopation and feel and a little bit of attitude, like the slide with the pause, and then you continue. And that's when it starts sounding like a lick. Yeah. But it was funny because I did it the other day, and then I walked in here today, and somebody was doing it over there.
Oh, the same kind of,
No, not same kind of thing. My thing.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm flattered, but change it a little.
Change it a little bit, exactly, yeah. No, it's true, you don't want to open it up, you know, like, cause I teach guitar and stuff like that as well, and like, the question is, like, how do you get to know it?
It's kind of fulfilling sometimes, too,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. When it's people who can play a bit, you know, when you're teaching, you know, a C chord to a 7-year-old or something, that's like, I can't do that anymore. Yeah. No disrespect.
It was like teaching a kid how to drive, too.
Well, yeah, exactly,
You're going to hit the car!
Yeah. But like, I always know, a cool thing, you know, being on one string and same kind of thing, you know. That kind of idea, you know, and then you're in there, you know.
There you go. Awesome.
But one thing I was going to say, what I picked up what you were saying about the Van Halen thing is, another thing people kind of miss out on is rhythm.
Right.
You know what I mean? But be it lead stuff or just be able to. Everyone's the same thing, yeah. You know what I mean? But to hold a groove down instead of, you know, whatever, you know, and then put that in your. I'm going to neck pickup, sorry.
Do it.
But if I can, that one. Whatever, you know what I mean?
Pause,
something in there. So it's just not all that all the time.
Right,
you know, it gets a bit repetitive. So no, it's interesting talking to players like you because I sell. You know, I think the same thing. You know, like we're talking about amps earlier before. You know, rolling camera, so to speak. You know, and when you were jamming last night, what I love about your playing is that there's so much balls there. You know, and you're a simple player. You don't play with a load of pedals, any of that kind of stuff. It was just plugged in straight in. I had to use the bloody pedal today.
Well, that's the cleanest amp on the planet.
Yeah, I know.
Unless you turn it up to 10, which would make the walls fall down.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, but I like that. You know, like, no, tone what gets you, so to speak. You know, instead of because some people just get the gain and fucking crank it all the way up. And
see, I don't even like that. I like.
No, sorry, I don't like that. It annoys me.
I know what you mean, but my reasoning is you hear everything less.
This is it. It gets all compressed down.
If I want, you know, it's like we compared walking around that hall in there where everybody's like trying out guitars. So it's a little guitar centery, right? You're walking around and you feel like you're in a music store.
Yeah,
and then you hear the guy with the gain and he's hitting a million notes. I'm like, yeah, turn that gain down a little.
Yeah.
See what happens.
See,
because that's when it's unforgiving.
Yeah.
Right. So I find a lot of people play the guitar and don't play the amp. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
Like, I play the amp. If I know when I plug into a plexi, I can't hit as hard as I hit, and I got to dial back the velocity of my picking.
Yeah.
So the speakers don't fart because they can't. They're not used to that attack, and everything sounds flubby and stuff. So and you can't hit as many notes because there's no time. You hit this note, and by the time you hit this note, if you hit it too hard, the speaker hasn't come back yet. You know that, or the tubes haven't come back yet. So that's how I love tight bottom end for that reason. But it's like if Angus plugged into any amp, he could play any amp.
Exactly.
The Shredderland, those guys, as amazing as they are, if they plugged into a plexi with no overdrive, they would be very limited, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because not everything would sound appealing in that capacity.
Yeah. I'm getting a complete flashback to when I was about 12 years old and I bought my first electric guitar and amp, like in the paper kind of thing. It was a little custom with a K.
Amp,
and it had this grey button called overdrive. I was like, cool, I pushed that. And I probably just went like, you know, doing that. And I was like, oh, I sound fast, you know. And you turn it off and it's like, you know, whatever it is, you know. And I was like, but why when I push that button it worked? Yeah. But like you were just saying, you know, it compress everything. So if you can, you know, do the, I'm not warm, with not much gain, then you know, if you're going to be super clean, you know, if it works like that, it's going to sound even better when you turn up, you know, Plexi or pull it up there, you know. So
totally. On the same page, man.
We're on the same page.
It's the same page.
It's the same page. But no, man, it's, do you want another jam?
Take it.
Oh, let's see if I've got to think what the fuck to fly on, isn't it? Let's do something E. So. I thought you were out of tune, so it kind of Man, we are losing about a stone in sweat. So that was awesome, man. Oh man, it's such a pleasure to hang with you. Well, hang the last few days. Every time I go to breakfast, we're like, hello man, how you doing?
Hey man, what's happening? I wasn't there this morning. I was like, one of those.
Yeah, I noticed you weren't there today.
8:20. I'm like, I'm gonna close my eyes for 10 minutes, and in 10 minutes it was 11:30.
Well, we was all at the bar to about 1ish, I think, weren't we? So I think it's about 1ish, and I went up about 1:15. But they're long days, man.
They're really long days.
They're long days. They're fun days, but
yeah, it's like if you're thinking, what, you guys get to hang out with other guitar players with guitarists for like 20 hours?
Yeah, it's pretty much that, isn't it? Yeah.
It's close. And everybody's like, and you're like, yeah, but it's, first of all, okay, you're in the UK, so you're closer. But there's a bunch of us people that came from the US and Canada that we're in jet lag mode still.
Oh no, I feel you. I feel bad saying I'm tired. Yeah. It's only because.
Yeah, shut it!
Well, the only reason I'm tired, I had a gig Saturday, going at 1, and I had to leave for the airport at 4. So I only had 3 hours sleep, and then, so that's my excuse.
Okay, that's a good
You know,
excuse.
so, you know, and then I was flying back Saturday, 4:30 in the morning being picked up. I'm like, there's only one 4.
But this is kind of like what we do. And
well, this is it.
On one hand, it's an amazing experience. Like when I jammed, I was in Germany when I jammed with Uli John Roth, and that was like 3 days. To go from Las Vegas to Germany for 3 days, the Uli Roth thing was amazing.
Yeah.
But then I had to fly to Bahamas to do another gig, and jammed with Billy Gibbons.
Nice.
So it was a fantastic dream come true.
Yeah.
Like I've jammed with Billy before, and And we joke a lot, about string gauge because he uses 7s.
Oh, of course. What do you, not to go techie here, what do you use?
No, I use 9.5.
Oh, okay.
But I use 9.5. It happened like last year when I did 2.5 months with Bon Jovi, tuned to E flat.
Mm-hmm.
And 10 to 46 in E flat. I was like, oh, that feels great, awesome, killer. And you get used to it. You get the adjustment is quick and it's awesome. But then when I got home and did a drills gig, in A440 with 10 to 46, my left hand was like, fuck you, man. And it's like, okay, so, and 9s are too light.
Yeah.
But I called Clear Tone, my people, my string people, and I said, hey, you guys make 9.5 sets? And they're like, we don't, but we can.
We can.
Just give us a couple of, we got to get the wire and make it, and then we'll send you some packs. I loved it.
Oh, really, yeah? Worked straight away.
And there's 2 songs in the Bon Jovi set that are in A440 where I use the 9.5s, and then when I go switch to a guitar in E flat and have the 10s, there's no adjustment. It feels like, oh, this is perfect. Yeah. So that's something to think about, kids.
Absolutely, Well, one last question I want to ask you. When you said about Uli and Billy Gibbon, is there anyone you play with where you're like, shit? Obviously, you've met a few people in your time now, but is there anyone, or jam with, sorry, I should say, or met, where you're like, shit, it's you, anyone kind of the starstruck thing?
I love that. I get the starstruck thing, and living in LA for 20 years, I met a lot of my heroes.
Cool.
And I got to jam with a lot of my heroes. And when I happened jamming with Uli, we jammed like all on the Watchtower. That was our jam, but then we all stayed on stage for Purple Rain. Nice. And I kept hitting the E instead of the D or the D instead of the E because I was listening to Uli.
Of course, yeah.
So it's hard to be objective, and like when Uli played, me and Pete Thorne went out front and stood in front of his amp. This is awesome! You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
so
absolutely.
That's the fanboy. But when you're on stage, and it was a couple of months ago, I got to jam, and Billy was there, and Steve Stevens, and Steve Lukather, and Stevie Salas, and so all these guys we're all on the stage, and if it's like something like LaGrange when we're jamming, it's Billy's song, so he's like, you go, and then you go, and like he's the director, right? But in the Bahamas, and this was the best thing, I did a lick in Sharp Dressed Man, LaGrange, that he went, whoa, like, and it wasn't flashy or anything, it was just one of those licks where you hear it and you go,
a bit like me with this random slide thing.
Right?
This is like the reverse.
Hey, pay it forward, man.
I appreciate it, man. Man, it's been great to hang out with you. I'll be hanging out with you again.
Where am I looking? Where we should look for the sign-off?
Yeah.
This one? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Man. Thank you, man. You. Mike Brady sign out at GitCon 2018.
18!
Boom!
Dude, thank you.
Cheers. That was wicked, man.
Good, man.
That was wicked. That was
a good one too.
Yeah, I know, right? I could just feel
the
drips.
bonus, man.
Yeah. The last shoot of the day.
Talking to myself.